The One Voice Faith Leader Spotlight helps residents of Hunterdon County better get to know their faith leaders. The aim of these conversations is to share their offerings and create connection within the faith community.
Hi, Amy. It's so great to see you today.
Hi, you too, Allison. Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, welcome to the Faith Leader Spotlight, where I get to ask you some hard-hitting questions to share with the Hunterdon community. And thank you. So I thought we'd just start with me just kind of asking, like, what brought you to the ministry?
Mm-hmm.
And if you give us a little background.
Sure. Well, it all started when my parents moved to a new town, and the mover that was moving them in their new house invited them to his church. And they had grown up different denominations than Presbyterian, but he invited them to the Presbyterian church. And so they went, and then I was baptized Presbyterian, and have just always kind of felt at home in the Presbyterian church, and was very active like in youth group and like summer camps, and just very curious about things of faith. I had a best friend who also has ended up going into ministry, and she and I in junior high used to talk on the phone and ask deep questions like, you know, if someone far, far away is born and doesn't know who Jesus is, you know, surely God will not, you know, look down upon them. And so we were thinking about deep things a long time ago. Anyway, I encountered a person in my college years who was very troubled and kind of self-destructive. And I really tried to lean into his situation and understand sort of what was driving that, and felt compassion for him and wanted to help him, and wanted more tools on how to make a difference in his life. And so that was where I started to really sense a call to ministry. I did have the advice from others that you should try to do anything else before you go into ministry. And so I worked for 4 years after college before going to seminary. And each of those work experiences in that time sort of helped me, again, have my call confirmed, so that by the time I went to seminary in 1997, then I was pretty sure I should be there.
Great. And so tell us a little bit about Flemington Presbyterian Church, located right on Main Street and in the center of Flemington. Really old, beautiful church. Tell us how long you've been there and what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I am so excited still to be here, and having been called here in 2018, towards the end, in November of 2018. So it's been three years. And it's just been tremendous. There are wonderful, gifted volunteers that step up and lead great events and outreach projects. Yesterday, we had our mission team partner with Harvest Family Success Center, and the people from the church cooked soup and they handed it out yesterday. And so we're excited to be starting partnerships in the community. They also helped pack meals, I think, with United Way just a little while ago, a few weeks or months ago. So just lots of good partnerships and a heart for mission in this church. And then there's a real value of quality traditional worship. So there's the big organ, and we have a choir, and we have bell choirs. And so that's a great way for people to be involved in sharing their gifts. And we have a great Sunday school. We just had an officer training exercise where we came up with this. We asked the question, where do we want to go in the next 3 years? And we got all of these answers. And so we're going to be working on how to make that happen, how to make the vision real together as a church. So, and some of our hopes are to be a place of welcome and inclusion for people of all abilities and all walks of life. We would love to reflect the diversity of our location, and just kind of bring the church up into the current times. We do, out of the pandemic, we began to live stream our worship services, and so they are available on our Facebook page, and like all the way through the whole pandemic, I think is recorded there. So you could you could spend a lot of time watching worship.
Back into the archives. That's wonderful, that we have that opportunity to really get to know the church, from that perspective. And I think that's one of the things the pandemic has offered us, is it's actually made in some ways, and I'd love to know what your thoughts on this, going to church a little easier.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So there's sort of two sides to it. It has made going to church easier, because people have tuned in, and like even my family from North Carolina watches every week. But we have people, from Australia that have watched, and, former members that have moved away but still tune in. So it's been really good in connecting those further out people. We're realizing that some people have gotten fairly comfortable in staying in their pajamas and with their cup of coffee and staying at home. But we do have a good amount of people coming in person now too. And we do, still have some pretty firm COVID protocols in place right now, where we're wearing masks, even while we sing, and social distancing and things like that. But every month, our church session, our leaders look again at the CDC recommendations and the New Jersey Department of Health statistics, and try to, reevaluate and make the best choice so that we keep the most vulnerable in mind as we make our decisions. So.
Absolutely. And how do you feel that, I know personally from being at your church and working with your youth group in terms of creating blessing bags for the Hope One van, we had that great opportunity to partner together. And obviously your youth group is pretty vibrant. And so how do you feel, from 2018 coming to the church, and then how you've made your way through the pandemic, and you have that beautiful visual of where are we going next, right? And so what have you seen, and where do you see kind of the youth group going? What's happened for you over this time?
Well, so unfortunately our Christian education coordinator got another call and moved on. And so we don't have that firm coordinator right now, but we are revamping we have student deacons who are elected and ordained to be deacons in the church. And we have 6 of them, new ones, coming on board. Just this coming weekend is when we're ordaining and installing them. And so then we're trying to use their insight and their ideas to generate the activities for the year for the youth. So they'll be instrumental in planning and implementing their own activities with the help of some adults. And we're hoping that in turn will help, attendance, because they'll be excited about it and bring their friends and things like that. We've had some pizza gatherings and I just find that the kids are kind of worn out from Zoom. We did have to have confirmation class, a whole year of confirmation class, only meeting on Zoom, which was really hard. But they ended up joining the church, and now we're having a confirmation class right now of 8th graders who are going to join the church in June. So I'm trying to think. So the student deacons, we do involve our youth in the activities like service projects and things like that the church is doing. So, working with the food pantry and any of those kind of projects. We do also have a mission trip. That's a tradition here at the church, where a group of people go up to Maine for a week in the summer, the last full week of July. And that's what the bus here is about. It's the VIM bus, Volunteers in Mission. And so that opportunity is open actually to people in the community as well, if they're interested. I think ages 14 and up can come on the trip. And so that's a way we kind of do like Habitat for Humanity kind of work on homes up there for a week. So that's something that youth get excited about. We are having an event coming up called Faith in Action, where we're coordinating with the other faith leaders,
Yeah.
other faith communities in the community,
Yeah.
to reach out and to do projects together. On May 15th, I believe it's going to be held, and we're going to kick it off on our front lawn here at the church.
Where can we get more information on that, Amy? Can we get that on the Flemington Presbyterian website?
I think it will be up there very shortly. I'm not sure
Okay,
that it's there yet,
terrific.
but yes.
Good.
So Faith in Action, from the kickoff will be at 12:30 on our front lawn on Main Street by the monument on May 15th. And then people will, go and do the project that they have chosen to work on. So
Great.
we invite people to join us in that.
Sounds like there's a lot happening there and a lot, moving toward the spring. There would be even more opportunities to get involved.
Absolutely.
In terms of like just issues that you've seen come up, obviously, One Voice is really committed to reducing substance use among our youth, but we're also really interested in any kind of social issues that are happening for our youth. And I'm just curious what you've seen through your ministry over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, those are very important topics in the life of our community and in our faith community. I know that we have a number of families who have been touched by the loss of loved ones who have overdosed. And so there's definitely energy around prevention, trying to help that not happen. And by building, strong connections with the faith community and feeling cared for, helping people feel cared for and welcome. So, and offering them the support that they need. We did have, we had one young person in our church take his own life 2 years ago now, Joey Drellick. And so we are very mindful also of mental health concerns and being mindful of the wellness of our young people, how they're pushed and stretched so much to perform and to succeed and to just excel, and just try to teach them that God loves them whether they're first or not. That they're loved for who they are, not what they do. And so just providing a welcoming space and a safe space to share our struggles. We don't all try to pretend like we have it all together, but we welcome people to share who they really are, because we're all struggling in some way, and we recognize that as a faith community, I think.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, and that's really helpful. I agree. I think the mental health issues are, more far-reaching than maybe we can imagine sometimes. So just working at this really local level can be helpful.
Yes.
So thank you for describing what's happening for you all there.
Yeah, and I definitely, like, in our prayers and in the liturgy of the worship service, name those kinds of struggles and pray for people who are dealing with those, and just allow people to share what's really going on with them. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am going to throw you a little bit of a curveball for this last question.
Okay.
And although it's a fun one, I think, and it helps us get to know you a little bit better. So at this time, top 5 songs, if you were to create a playlist with your top 5, what would they be?
Oh my goodness. Like right now, I'm listening to so much Taylor Swift. And I don't know how to explain it, but even when I'm on the treadmill at Planet Fitness, I'm listening to Taylor Swift. And I would love to see her in concert. But so some of her songs, I love her song called Invisible String. It talks about the string that connects us to each other. And top 5 songs, that is hard.
So you're down to 4.
I'm not good at this.
If they're all Taylor, it's okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's lots of Taylor Swift, but there's other things. So like I grew up in Florida, so I'm kind of partial to Jimmy Buffett. And I've seen him in concert. So I just have to, I can't name a particular song, but I like Jimmy Buffett. I love the Indigo Girls. So they are awesome. I've seen them in concert, like, I don't know, 15 or 20 times. And I just love them. So Indigo Girls, who else? I really love U2. And in fact, I wrote a sermon that's in a book about pastors who have used U2 lyrics in their sermons. So there's a sermon of mine in a compilation book called Get Up Off Your Knees. And so I mean, their music is deep and inspiring, and it's kind of like going to church. If you've ever been to one of their concerts, for me, it can be really healing. And so I'm not exactly naming songs, but I mean, naming artists.
This is great.
So how many was that? Was that 4?
I think you got about 4, which is great. And,
okay, that was enough.
Yeah, you're great.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Amy. This was amazing. It was so good to hear you and just hear more about the work that you're doing at Flemington Presbyterian Church. And thanks for hanging out with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, we welcome everyone to come.
Thank you.